name is Shreya Vellian.
Sometimes I cannot hear myself think. There is too much noise, chores, homework, organizing, and much more.
I want to enjoy each moment with some level of awareness.
On a daily basis, we interact with many people. Interactions with people like family, friends, or complete strangers are the construct that make up our life. And yet, we too often move quickly past one interaction to get to the next.
As you become more successful, grow your family, your relationships, your community, your friends, the number of interactions will only increase. It becomes more tempting to treat a new neighbor like a person you bump into the street.
We heard an awesome story of patience the other day. It has been stuck in our minds.
This is a small story about a random act of kindness that affected two lives in a big way.
A New York City taxi driver arrives at his final stop for his shift. He honked. After waiting a few minutes, he honked again. Because it was his last stop, he considered pulling away. Instead, he put the car in the park and walked up to the door.
He knocked. Then he heard an elderly voice. Just a minute. Then he heard the shuffling of bags moving across the floor. Then the door opened.
It was a small woman in her 90s with a soft smile, wearing a print dress and a pillbox hat. As she answered, the taxi driver caught a peek inside the house. It looked as if no one had lived there for years. All the furniture was covered in sheets, no clocks on the wall, and no knickknacks on the counters.
Could you carry my bag? The lady asked. The cab driver walked her slowly to the front porch of the cab.
Once in the cab, the lady handed the driver an address and asked, "Could you drive me through the downtown?" "It's not the shortest way," the driver answered. "I'm in no hurry. I don't mind," she said. "I'm on my way to the hospice."
The driver and the passenger shared a quick glimpse in the rearview mirror, enough for her to see his concern and continue. "I don't have any family left. The doctor says I don't have very long." The driver quietly reached over and shoved the meter, then asked, "What route would you like me to take?"
For the next 2 hours, they drove through the city. She showed the driver where she once worked, the neighborhood where she and her husband first lived, a furniture warehouse that had once been a ballroom when she was a girl. There were a few parts of the town that she asked the driver to slow down, and she would sit staring into the darkness, saying nothing.
After a couple hours, she suddenly said, "I'm tired. Let's go now." They drove in silence to the address she had given him. When they arrived, two orderlies came out of the cab as soon as they pulled up. They must have been expecting her.
The driver opened the trunk to take out the suitcase. As he shut the trunk, she was already in a wheelchair. "How much do I owe you?" she asked, reaching into her purse. "Nothing," the driver said. "You have to make a living," she answered.
"There are other passengers," he responded. Almost without thinking, the driver bent and gave the lady a hug. She held on tightly. "You gave an old woman a little moment of joy," she said. "Thank you." The driver gave a final squeeze of the lady's hand, and the two turned to go their separate ways. As he got in the car and glanced over to her, the door was shut. What if the woman had gotten an angry or an impatient driver? What if she got someone who refused to get out and go to her door, refused to take the time of driving around the city? Take a few moments today to find more patience with the people in your life. This might be listening more intentionally to your spouse, enjoying a conversation with your kids, taking time to check in with the neighbor, or listening to a coworker struggle with something outside of work. Whatever it is, give your attention. Thanks for watching. Bye.